All right. Special edition of the Outer Banks This Week podcast has brought me to one of my favorite places in the world, on one of my favorite islands in the world. Now, Roanoke Island is home for me, so that's got to be number one. But I think a close second to it would be Hatteras Island. I'm down here in Buxton, North Carolina, with the lovely, wonderful, beautiful author, Jan Dawson. How are you, Miss Jan? I feel like a long time no see.
Absolutely. But it is great to have you back here, Justin. And I'm doing well. As people know, there's been a good bit of that yellow stuff in the air lately.
Oh, my gosh.
And so I have to apologize for a little bit of a scratchy throat. But other than that, I'm doing great.
Yeah, so that yellow stuff. 'Tis the season where I feel like it gets earlier every year when pollen starts to show up. But it's gone faster, in my opinion. So... But yeah, it's still kind of lingering, but we're getting through it.
I judge it by the color of my car. If my car
Yes.
looks its normal color, then I figure we're over it. If it still has a yellow tint, I know we're still not there yet.
Not there yet. You're absolutely right. Well, back down here, why am I down here with author Jan Dawson yet again? She's got another book. This is what your fourth novel, correct? So, Building a Little Love. I was looking at the cover of it a moment ago, and I'd seen it before, and Miss Jan brought it back out for me to take a look at again, and definitely a beautiful cover, definitely got some great colors, attractive to the eye. So how's this one going to relate to your other books exactly?
Well, this is a brand new story. This is, as I say, a new story, new characters, new love. When I finished Tangled Lines, that kind of took all those tangled lines and tied them up in a bow. So that completed the Hatteras Island trilogy. Mm-hmm. But I had one more story that I wanted to tell. And as you know, Justin, we've talked about this before. All my books are on the surface sweet romance.
Yes.
But every single one of them has at least one theme or undercurrent or backstory. And I had one more idea about something I wanted to say about life on the island. And that's how Building a Little Love was born.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, because, all of your books have that same, theme or underlying story behind them. So what is it with Building a Little Love?
Well, there are a couple of them, but primarily, in addition to building a house, obviously, a young woman comes onto the island to build a house. It's the story about the dynamic that all of us, you on Roanoke Island, people who live up in the Nags Head North, those of us here on Hatteras, any tourist area, you have a dynamic that exists between people who are born here, people who move here, people who buy second homes here, and people who visit here.
Yes.
And as we know, sometimes that dynamic works very well, and there are times when it doesn't work at all.
Right. Yes, you're absolutely... So, yeah, there's a couple different themes there, I guess. Is that the right way to say it? Themes, dynamics.
Yep.
I guess, do you think that's going to be controversial?
You know, I thought about that as I was writing it. And of course, when you write a novel or any book, you should have people who are called your beta readers, people who you know, friends usually that you know are going to tell you not just that they love it, it's the best thing they ever read, but give you feedback. And I had some very good beta readers, including Joy Christ from the Island Free Press.
Okay, yes, she's great.
And Joy read it specifically. I told her what it was. And I said, no, you have to tell me whether I'm being even-handed or I'm being unfair or, if you think this is going to be in any way controversial. And happily, she loved it. And so how I would answer that question is I don't want it to be controversial. It shouldn't be controversial. It's a book and it's lighthearted. But I do hope it's thought-provoking. Mm-hmm. I do hope it's thought-provoking. At the very end of the book, after the story, I actually have something called an author's note. And I talk about what it's like living here and experiencing, especially through social media, because that's another thing I touch on.
Oh, okay.
The role that social media plays in creating some of these quote unquote controversies or bad feelings between the groups or whatever. And I've seen it already, and I'm sure you have too. We're just marching into another season, and already after Easter, it was all over the place. So what role does social media play in that? And how responsible and respectful should we be of the places that we visit? Mm-hmm. All of us are here, whether we were a native or somebody who's moved in like me. And it's funny because in the course of the book, I talk about all the different names that are attached to these. Some are pretty innocuous, like incomer. You hear that.
Right.
It's interesting that when I was in Cape Cod for Tangled Lines, I learned that people there who come in are called wash-ashores.
Wash-ashores, okay.
Wash-ashores. And in Ireland, I was watching a television program and they were talking about the same dynamic and they call them blow-ins.
Blow-ins. I've heard that one
I've
before.
I've also heard transplants.
Heard that one.
Now, those are all, there's nothing pejorative attached to them.
Right.
But when you start hearing people talk about Tourons, that's a little different.
That's got a
negative,
derogatory tone to it. Yes.
Absolutely.
You're taking two words and blending them in a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways, and not in a nice way.
No.
So I kind of touch upon that, and I want people to think about no matter why we're here, we're all here because we apparently love the place or we wouldn't be here.
Right.
And so the title, Building a Little Love, there's a house being built in the story, but it's also talking about building a little love for the island and for each other and a little bit of kindness.
It goes, you're absolutely right. And it goes a long way. And growing up here, I mean, I'll just the way I used to feel, I'll just shed some light on that. Like I was that guy, like these Tourons, and that was when I was young, when I was growing up, when I was a kid. And it really took me moving away, going in the army, seeing different things and coming back. Be like, man, I grew up where people come to vacation. They work year round to spend their money here, come here for a week every year and enjoy themselves. Like that's awesome. And I grew up here and I took advantage of that. Like, so doing what I do now, like my job in a lot of ways, both professionally and personally, is come, stay here. Let me show you some cool stuff. Love the fact that you love this place as much as I do. And I want you to be as invested in this place as I am. So like that was a whole transformation. It took me leaving and coming back to realize that I grew up in paradise. And I took advantage of it as a kid. And it's like, when you're a kid, you're growing up, you don't really recognize that sort of stuff. But looking back, it's like, wow, like I had it made. And I still have it. I get to live here. So, but
I want to say too, the flip side of that is that when you do come, and I have been a tourist for many, many years, from my childhood, that's what I was before I became a resident here,
right.
Before my parents built their home here, is that
I love that story, by the way.
Also,
I love your story about coming down here. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's
okay.
It's a great story.
Visitors to any place have a responsibility to respect that place as well.
Right.
And understand that there are people like you and me and others who live here, who make a living here, and who want to make sure that, especially because we live on Hatteras Island in Buxton, it's very true, such a fragile environment, that you do have a responsibility not to dig holes in the sand and leave them there overnight.
That's right.
And not to pass on the right when the car is making a left-hand turn in front of you. And some of the things that we see. So there's plenty to go around, and we all need to just stop for a minute and say, why are we here? And what can we do to make this, I know it sounds so cliche, but a kinder, gentler place.
Yes.
And when you come on vacation, and I used to say this at the motel, I swore that sometimes people packed everything but their common sense.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally get it. When I go on vacation, it's great.
Right.
But you also got to remember it's still life.
Yes.
And there are people that work and live here, but also for your own personal safety and you need to remember and think about what you're doing. And if a person says, I might not want to go in the water today, it's pretty rough, maybe you need to pay attention to that.
Listen to that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, and I mean, I know that with your book, Building a Little Love, kind of touches on some of those different topics and everything like that. So you got great themes all woven throughout it. And I was reading the back, you flip over the back a lot of times, kind of get the summary of what the book's about. And it's definitely really, really interesting sounding like this. I'm not a romance novel guy. I think we've talked about this before, but that one right there, I may actually with some of these different themes, may want to take a gander at and be like, let's see what we're working with here. Miss Jan's got something different here, Well,
you'd be surprised at the number of men who have read the book or have bought the book. I try, they're not sappy.
Right.
So you might this summer just need to pick it up and take a game.
And I'll be honest, like I'm really leaning into it, like just from hearing about the themes and everything, because it's stuff that I like to read things in a lot of ways I can relate to. I've always been like a nonfiction biography guy. That's just me. But like that right there would be like a fictional, but kind of touches home in a lot of ways. So like I can appreciate it a lot.
I also try to put in life lessons or things that I've seen or seen other people experience. And the other thing that resonates in this book and bubbles up is just because you like something or love something or want something doesn't mean that the person that is very important to you in your life, maybe your spouse, maybe your fiance, maybe your partner, whatever, will like or want the same thing.
Right.
You can't force them to like what you like or love what you love.
Right. That's true. You're absolutely right about that. Well, let me ask you this now. You say that in this book takes you away for a couple chapters to Pungo, Virginia. Pungo, of all places in the world, on the East Coast, wherever. Pungo. What is the attraction to Pungo here?
Well, when one day when Dave and I were driving up to Virginia Beach for an appointment, the Virginia Beach area, most people realize, at least living here, that it's not just that strip on the beach. Virginia Beach is a huge area. Lots of doctors, lots of offices, lots of things. So a lot of people from this area go up to Virginia Beach quite regularly. So we were on our way up there and we just didn't want to face the traffic on 64.
Okay, I can understand.
And so I looked at my phone and I said, I think there's a back way that we can go. I said, I see it here. And he said, well, let's do it. We weren't in a particular hurry. Well, lo and behold, it's a great way to go. I found out that I'm not the only person that does that. Okay. Tons of people know to do that, but it's beautiful. And all of a sudden you're in the city limits of Virginia Beach, but yet you're in farmland. And there are these beautiful farmhouses and amazing, huge farms. And you come across the little town of Pungo. And what I always liked about Pungo is they must be very proud of their town name because everything is Pungo. Pungo Pizza, Pungo Auto Insurance, the Pungo Five and Dime, whatever that
Pungo,
is.
yeah.
And so when I was writing the book and I needed a place nearby and I was kind of developing the idea of this story and I knew where I needed, I thought Pungo will be the perfect place. And it also serves for people who are reading the book who probably drive up and back that way all the time. If they are driving north, going up through Norfolk, they probably have no idea that there's a place like Pungo. I thought I'd give it a little shout out.
I love it. I love the thought. I love the process there. I love the way you were thinking about that. Cause yeah, I mean, you must be really proud of where you live or where you're from. If you're going to have every building or every
just
business,
about every place is
Pungo Doctors, Pungo.
And it really is a
Pungo
small
hardware.
place. I mean, I'm sure, it's been absorbed. And as the years go on, I mean, Virginia Beach, that whole area has just grown. But I can tell you in the fall, the farmers markets and things, it's a really lovely little area.
I'll check it out next time I head that way. Now I'm going to have to I got to make a trip through Pungo. Got it. So something else that seems to be a kind of a reoccurring thing with your books is like a happily ever after. Why is that such an important thing?
I learned in the trade that's called an HEA.
Okay, HEA.
Yeah, not a homeowners association.
Yeah, I was like, not an HOA. Got it. Okay.
Happily ever after. I write books and have written my books for pleasure, and I want people to have a pleasant experience reading them. I want it to be uplifting, maybe thought-provoking, but not in any terribly serious way for a long time. I want it to be something that they reflect back on with a smile. Lord knows, Justin, we've got a lot going on in the world around us, and not all of us makes us smile all the time.
That's right. So you're right about that.
If I can do my part, that for a few hours while someone's reading this book, to make them feel happy, and when they get to the end and they see that happily ever after, either stated or implied, that they walk away and say, boy, that made me feel better.
And I think that's important. You're right. Cause like there's a lot of dark spots in the world. You're absolutely hit the nail on the head for sure. I mean, all over the place and to give somebody that little bit of something that's going to make them smile or make them feel good. I don't blame you a bit there. I love that. That's a great reason for there to be a HEA. Got it. So it's something else that seems to be a reoccurring thing, I guess, with your books is they come out in the spring. Now, is that something that you're doing intentionally, or is that just happens to be when it happens?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. You never know.
Think about where we live. No, I find that I have enjoyed writing through the summer and into the fall and getting my editing done and having the books ready for the spring.
Okay.
So that every year when visitors come back, I mean, the first year it was kind of accidental. I didn't have this thought. But then as this went on with Hooked on You and then Tangled Lines and Building a Little Love, I realized that there are some people who were waiting for a new book and they were coming back for their vacation and they were like, well, did she do another one? You know, I'm going to go to the bookstore or wherever and pick it up. So yes, it's absolutely to take advantage of the fact that my books are meant to be beach reads, summer reads, not that you can't read them any other time.
Right.
But they are perfect. They're short, they're sweet, they're to the point, they fit in your beach bag. Take it out while you're out there on the beach and enjoy. And of course, that's spring rolling into summer. So
yes, it is.
That's the timing.
Okay. So it's definitely an intentional act. I get it. And I can appreciate it. Absolutely. I'm hearing something about a new website.
Oh, I'm excited. I probably should have done it a long time ago, but
okay.
I just didn't. But I do have a new website, and I'm very, very, very happy with it. And I want to give a shout out to GCP up in Kitty Hawk for doing the work. They helped us with it when we had the motel. Beautiful, beautiful. Joe and Chris have done amazing work. It's crisp, it's clean, and people can find out anything they want to know. Where I'm going to be doing book signings. I try to do a blog fairly regularly about island life, so you can find that on there.
Okay.
There are blurbs about all the books, and so if you've read one but you haven't read the others and you're interested, and you can also order directly. You can contact me. Send me an email and tell me what you think.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's that website?
It's www.jandawsonauthor.com.
JanDawsonAuthor.com. Okay. I will make sure to link that in the description of this podcast so that people can check out your website, check out your little blog posts, check out the books, order directly from you. I think that's awesome. JanDawsonAuthor.com.
I'm finding that I'm really enjoying the blogs because they're short, but they take snippets of either things that I've mentioned in the books or things that are happening here on the island, and just giving people, again, a little chance to understand what it's like to live here when they're not here.
Right.
You know, what happens or how we feel about things. Or I did one recently about looking for seashells in beach glass. Because a lot of my characters from time to time will take a walk on the beach. Everybody maybe not everybody, but I'm going to say everybody that comes to visit here usually takes a walk on the beach. At
least one.
And very often, shelling and looking for beach glass are a part of that. I used to get a lot of questions at the motel. What's the best time? How do I look for it? So I put some tips out there for people in the blog post. So that's part of it's been really fun. It's not as taxing as writing an entire novel.
No, I bet not. No, yeah. I mean, that's just something like you can kind of speak freely in a lot of ways. You don't have to have a certain tone. I mean, there's definitely undertones to probably a lot of, the stuff that you may put in a blog post, but like you don't have to have a certain tone throughout.
Right.
How are you feeling that day? Yeah. I woke up and I just was feeling like this, and this is what the blog came out at like. So, and that's beautiful. I call that freestyle writing.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a lot of fun.
Well, let me ask you this now, other than on your website, JanDawsonAuthor.com. I'm going to say that multiple times. Where else can your books be found?
If you are coming to the Outer Banks, all of the bookstores here carry them, from Corolla, Duck, Manio, and Ocracoke.
Nice.
And then if you are in the Inner Banks, Pamlico Books in Washington and Next Chapter Books in New Bern.
Oh.
They all carry my books. And of course, I do want to mention, I didn't mention Buxton Village Books, and some people may not understand that we lost Gigi in January. So at this time, Buxton Village Books is closed. We are very hopeful here on the island that someone will come along. I'm putting that out there in case someone's listening.
Yes.
That we would love to have someone come in who has a love and understanding of books as well as of this island and this area to step in. It was a huge loss, obviously, for the book community and those of us that write, but a personal loss for me. So yesterday as we tape this, yesterday was her birthday. So shout out to happy heavenly birthday to Gigi. She meant so much to all of us.
Yeah, she was definitely a sweetheart of a person. I only ever met her one time, I believe, but like she was very kind, very welcoming, walked me around her store, showed me a lot of stuff, and it was just, she's a very, very sweet person. And it was shocking to me. I believe I was when I found out she had passed, I believe I was down here. I don't remember exactly why, but I believe I was in Hatteras, and I actually texted my boss and was like, did you hear about this? And I think they had just heard about it too. So
she was a mentor to so many people for so many different reasons. But I realize as these few months have gone on, I've had different questions and things that I generally would just text her and say, hey, Gigi, what do you think about this or whatnot? But so I'm out there doing my bit because she always believed that it was really important to promote your own book. Like she always said, your books don't jump off the shelves themselves into the hands of readers. So I hope she approves of all what I've been doing these past few months. Yeah,
I'm willing to bet you. She's definitely super proud of you for sure. I guarantee that. Now, another question before we wrap this thing up. You're known to do some book signings. You just had one in downtown Manio back on First Friday and April 3rd. Do you have any coming up in the near future that you can speak of real quick?
I do. I have in June, I have some coming up. I have all the way through September. My mind's going blank now, but everything is on my website, which is
JanDawsonAuthor.com. Okay.
I've got, one thing I would like to mention in that regard, Justin. I do have some private events. I've got the Southern Shores Women's Club or Outer Banks Women's Club. I'm doing a private event with them. And I say that just to let people know, if you're a member of a book club and you'd like me to come and speak anywhere, Outer Banks, Inner Banks, Dave and I love to take road trips. I'm more than happy to come. And it doesn't matter if your group has read my book, that's awesome. If you just want to hear about what it's like to be a self-published author and some of the things I've learned through that experience, I'm happy to do that as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely. So, and you can get more information or you can get in contact with author Jan Dawson at JanDawsonAuthor.com. Well, let me just say this, Miss Jan, one more time. Thank you for having me down today. And I've said this to you before, but you have a beautiful home. You have an absolutely gorgeous home. And it's always nice if you get up with me, then I get an opportunity to come down here and hang out with you. I always like to take advantage of it. So, this podcast, special edition of the Outer Banks This Week podcast with author Jan Dawson. Again, her new book, Building a Little Love, already on shelves, and she's happy to talk to you more about it or whatnot. Check her out on her new website, JanDawsonAuthor.com. Miss Jan, thank you so much for today.
Thank you for having me.